Welcome. I have the great pleasure in interviewing Aislinn Kerchaart, who's going to be with us at the 24th Annual Fairy and Human Relations Congress. My name is Jan Kinsey. I'm one of the organizers. And I was just telling Aislinn years ago I did meet the Kontomblé and I put out the prayer. I want somebody who's really good to show up, who can work with the Kontomblé, who can show up at the Fairy Congress, because this is important work. Thank you, Aislinn, for for being here. You're getting rave reviews, and thank you for all those spirits that are in helping us put this Congress on, and for answering my prayer. Aislinn, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, thank you, Jan. It's an absolute pleasure to be here and an honor to be coming back and weaving with the Fairy Congress again. So I'm a Kontomblé voice diviner, which means that I was initiated into a lineage that comes from Burkina Faso. It's the Dagra tribe of Burkina Faso. And this lineage was brought to the West by Elder Malidoma Somé. And they have many different types of diviners in this lineage, but the Kontomblé voice diviners are the ones who bring the Kontomblé through their voice. And so what you will experience is the Kontomblé speaking in their ancient mother tongue, which is a language as old as earth, and then me translating it into English. So that's what it means when I say Kontomblé voice diviner. I'm also an artist and a healer. I work a lot with women in private mentorship and doing classes on earth-based ritual. And then I work with all kinds of folks in person for rituals with the Kontomblé. So it's an honor to be here.
That's fantastic. Can you so at the Fairy Congress, which is coming up, I'll put all the links in the description, but it's coming up July 18th through the 22nd. It's about an hour south of Portland, Oregon. And you're going to be doing a kind of I think it's like a 4 or 5 hour workshop on Thursday, and then you've got a smaller workshop during the Congress itself. Um, and you've titled it "Come Home to Your Bones," a Kontomblé ritual. Actually, before we enter into that one, I'm very curious. How did you meet the Kontomblé?
It's a great question and a really big one for meeting such big beings that come under the guise of being so little, right? Well, I first met them, say about 8 years ago, through another diviner. And this was in a house ceremony where I attended the ceremony and there was a group divination being done, which is much like what I'll be doing in the Thursday immersion. And in this group divination, it was really all about people who felt a connection to the nature spirits and the little people. And in that divination, the Kontomblé spoke to me directly out of the whole group. And they said that they remembered me and that I looked just like they remembered me. And yeah, it was really beautiful. They said, beautiful girl, you look just like we remember you. And when they said that, yeah, it just broke my heart right open, and all of these tears poured from my eyes. I felt like I couldn't stop crying for 20 minutes, and there were these beautiful tears of remembering. And something really remarkable about that day before I got to that house ceremony was I was, around my house getting ready to go, and I saw 4 lightning bolts crack in the middle of my living room. And I was in that kind of phase where I was like, oh, la la la, like kind of blocking it out, like in denial. But there was no denying after then meeting the Kontomblé that that was them letting me know, or our appointment is tonight. We're being reunited tonight. So it was a really beautiful gift that they gave me by showing up in that way.
Thank you for sharing that. That is, I get chills. And yeah, so in. You made a statement, so we're going to get back to your Thursday workshop, but you made a statement that I want to delve into just a little bit. The Kontomblé speak on behalf of all nations of little people. Can you say something about that? Because I think some people are getting, oh, these are West African fairies. Can
Right.
you talk a little bit about the global aspect of this?
Yes, yes. So the Kontomblé are the little people of the Dagra tribe in Burkina Faso, as I mentioned, but I say that they speak on behalf of all nations of little people for a couple of reasons. One is that I often like to say that they're like the MCs at the party. They are the ones that have the mic. And the reason for that being is because the art of voice divination has remained intact in the Daguerre lineage for over 50,000 years. So there's this intact line of literally they have the microphone through the voice of the vessels, the oracles, the bridges in physical body that have worked with them or been initiated to work with them. So that's one aspect, and something that the Kontomblé have shown me and that I believe to be true through their mentoring is that the art of voice divination was something that was alive in many cultures and traditions all over the world. And that's something that got lost and buried and broken away. So for it to be intact in this lineage, they really are like the MCs at the party. When they come through, they're kind of a long line of other beings that want to get their message in through them. So that's the first reason. And the second aspect is that when we say Kontomblé, we're talking on multiple levels. Kontomblé are, in fact, the little people. They can come in these individualized consciousnesses and appear to us in these forms. And then they also have a oversoul aspect to the consciousness that lives within them. And that is an ancient consciousness. That consciousness, kind of the ancient souls of the Kontomblé are what I believe one of many celestial cosmic forces that have contributed to the stewarding of and perhaps even doulaing in of Mama Gaia's birth, the birth of our earth, and now the rebirth of our earth as we're experiencing it today.
Wow, Aislinn, this is profound. Thank you. Do you want to say a little bit about, so you on the July 18th, Thursday, you've got a kind of a longer workshop, which is 1 to 5. We've titled it "Come Home to Your Bones," a Kontomblé ritual, and you have, for the people who are registering, you have a handout with that. Is there anything you want to say about that Thursday workshop?
Oh, yeah, I'd love to. The name is really fun. The Kontomblé, they like to rhyme, right? And the name is, in a way, a shout out to last year's experience at the Fairy Congress, where, they'll let me know certain things about the ritual, and then they'll make sure that there are things I don't know that kind of emerge from the process of us all coming together. And so last year's experience was really initiatory in that way, where I had perhaps a thought that it might go in one direction and it went in this entirely other direction that Spirit had in mind. And they guided me through that in just the hours before. So it ended up being a grief ritual. And it was a pretty intense one. But the message that the Kontomblé brought to me individually, just hours before that grief ritual that we all experienced together, was that they wanted us to phone home through our bones. They said we needed to use our bone phones to phone home. And I was like, okay, we're going to phone home through our bones. And I brought that to the circle and I told everyone, this is what the Kontomblé say we're going to do. We're going to phone home through our bones and we're going to shake our bones. Then, wait for this, Jan, something amazing happened where we heard from the circle, and one of the women in the circle, an elder who's named Mary, had a song that she remembered learning with Elder Malidoma. I think it was 20 or 30 years prior, a Dagra song that she taught our entire group. And the song meant, "Spirit, come shake my bones. Spirit, come rattle my bones."
That's beautiful. Even the image of it. Let's rattle our bones.
So we're taking that forward this year into this ceremony.
Wow. This is so exciting. You're kind of taking I mean, this is so Fairy Congress, but you're taking it to a new level. This is like, yes. I mean, we go in so many different directions. So you're also teaching about whales. You've got a smaller workshop during the Congress itself. Can you say something about whales and the little people and the connection?
Yes, there's one more thing I want to say about the
Yeah.
Thursday
All right.
immersion, which is just to make it super clear for those who are invited and thinking about coming, that in the Thursday immersion, we will be experiencing group divination. So we will be hearing the Kontomblé coming through my voice and them being translated, their messages being translated to English. So there'll be a combination of ritual and preparation and the making of offerings, which is really something that they love. They love when we make offerings because that helps feed the experience of them being able to come through and bring their messages and then have the divination. So I'm really looking forward to that. And then for the Oceans of Devotions workshop with the Kontomblé and the whales have also been immense, literally and figuratively, teachers on my path. When I first met the Kontomblé, after that experience that I shared with you about, I had a private divination, and in that divination, the Kontomblé spoke about the whales as great teachers to me, and me having like just a soul connection with these beings. And they said, keep swimming with the whales, keep swimming with the whales. It will help you to remember. And little could I have known how much that would continue to unfold over the next several years. And it has, especially since then, I moved out here to the Oregon coast. And there's been a lot of dreamtime communication from whales. And I've also, unfortunately, had a lot of interactions with whales that have beached here where I live, which is right where the Columbia River meets the ocean. And in the past couple of years, in the past 2 years, there's been 6 whales that have beached. And the Kontomblé have called me to visit them and tend to them, bring offerings, and send prayers to help with that ancestralization process of the whales making their journey home. And through that process, what they've shown me is that the whales are actually incredible allies in the ancestralization process for all beings, including humanity. So something that they're wanting to help us with through the consciousness that they embody here on the planet is they're wanting to help us with the alchemizing of our greed and the energies of consumption into the expression of our grief. And when we express our grief and we let those tears flow, it becomes the fuel that allows our unwell ancestors to complete their journey home. So they're incredible, incredible allies in this process. And they brought many messages to me in the past 2 years. And I hope to share more of them in this workshop.
Aislinn, thank you so much. I am so excited. Folks, if you're interested in joining us, fairycongress.com. I'm going to put in Aislinn's workshop in the description below or in the comments. And get on our mailing list because we have a lot of fascinating work online, offline, in person. Um, Join us. Yes. Aislinn, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, see you at the
Looking forward to it.